Awesome, Raul. Well, thanks again, man, for jumping on. Tell me, like, how did you get started in surplus funds? And well, first off, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you just told me you had two kids, but where are you from? What's your background? Tell me about your family real quick.
Well, I live in Southern California. 34, I have two kids. I work in the aerospace industry at the moment, but I've only been there for maybe 2.5 years. Before that, I had 10 years of electrical experience.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I did electrical for a long time, and I just wanted something different.
Yeah.
I felt like if I've, I feel if there's there's more,
Uh,
there's more.
Yeah.
So I catch myself sometimes being like, okay, I've done this. What's next?
Yeah.
So yeah, I live in Southern California. Two beautiful kids. My wife, beautiful wife. Married for 10 years and got into surplus funds just recently, just looking for, to better my family's situation. And, I just tired of the rat race.
Yeah.
I'm tired of, continuously working every day hard all day to be I guess you would call it like good broke, where I don't have any money but all my bills are paid,
Right.
so um I got into aerospace thinking, this is going to change my life. And it's a great opportunity, great company, but I'm looking for more.
Yeah.
And I heard about surplus funds in 2008. I mean 2018, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I have a friend who's an entrepreneur, so he would always try to like, hey, I'll come with me. I want you to come with me to these conventions, and come with me here. And he would always try to like get me to you know, to to jump into entrepreneurship with him in his early stages.
Yeah.
And I went to a convention, and at the time I kind of was going through some things, but the host of the convention, he had mentioned surplus funds.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly his name. I don't remember too much about it at the time. Like I said, I was kind of going through some things, but I've always had a passion to help people.
Yeah.
And going out of my way, like, just it makes me feel good, to know that I could help someone and that I make their day easier, at least their day.
For sure.
So oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said absolutely. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you first heard about it in 2018.
hmm
When did you actually get involved and like start doing, you know, doing the things that all are involved in surplus funds?
so I am recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
So at the time, I was, battling with that,
Yeah.
and it always, but it always stuck with me. So, through the battles of trying to get past that and to be, what I know that I can be. It took about from 2018, I heard about it. I was finally stopped drinking 2019. So I got into, the aerospace industry right after that. God blessed me tremendously. Like it was like almost like as soon as I got done, as soon as I knew that I was done, I got a home, I got a new child on the way, I got a new career, I got cars, and it was like God was holding all of these things for me, to be finished. And I
Yeah.
mean, within a year, I was like, whoa, where did all this stuff come from? So that was 2019. Working in the aerospace industry. It would always overages were always in the back of my mind. Always. It was always there because he said people lose their homes, and that's something that people go through that is tragic. Just it's terrible, and you could be that light.
Yeah.
So fast forward to about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving 2021.
Okay.
I'm sitting down, and it's like football season, so I'm watching football, and um I'm scrolling on Facebook, and Bob Diamond pops up.
Nice.
So Bob Diamond pops up, and I was like, oh, it caught my attention, for about 5 minutes, and then I was like, okay, let me get back to watching football, because you don't really think that it's, you're like, oh, it's there, but I'm busy right now, I guess.
Yeah.
So, a couple of days later it pops up again. And I'm like, okay, now I'm really thinking about it. Okay, well, let me look into it a little bit. So I looked on YouTube and I looked at one of his videos, and nothing against him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about his course. I watched the video, and um, you know, it just didn't really sit with me, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I left it alone, but it still kept bugging me. Like, still kept bugging me. And I'm like, all right, let me sit down and I'm gonna Google overages. Google overages and you pop up, right? So you pop up, see your face, scroll, keep seeing your face and your name, right? So I was like, let me click one of these links. So I clicked the link, and this is the God's honest truth. I look at you and I'm like, he has a hat on, t-shirt, scruffy little beard. I'm like, man, this guy was like, he lived next door to me, you know? But so I'm thinking, I'm like, if he is as successful as it looks and he still dresses like a normal guy, this is who I want to learn from.
Mm.
So that was initial. So I clicked on, I don't remember which video it was. I clicked on the video, and um I just listened, and I listened, and you tell your story about how, you're a corrections officer and you worked and you cleaned toilets, you showed your taxes, like you did all this stuff, right? And I was like, okay, this is what I want. And this is who I want to teach me. So at the time, it's a couple of days before Thanksgiving. I'm good broke. I have $0, but my mortgage is paid. And I prayed to God. I said, this is what I want. This is what I want to do, but I don't have any money.
Yeah.
So by January 1st, my mortgage was paid, had a great Christmas, had, all of my bills paid, and had the money for the course. Don't know where it came from, but I had it. So bought the course on the 2nd and got to work. I
Nice.
got to work
And so that was January of this year,
this year,
2022.
2022. Yes.
Okay. And so since getting to work, what has been your results so far?
So, right off the bat, I told myself, I said, you know what? I know that this is not going to be easy. I'm not technology savvy. I'm not a computer guy. I'm not, like I can talk, but cold calling and things like that. Like, I knew that I was going to have to step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I told myself, I said, if I want things to change, I have to change. And no matter how I feel, I'm not going to quit. And I got to work. I said, I think I probably went through the course. It took me a little while. I went to like 3 weeks. I probably went like halfway and then stopped myself and was like, hey, no, go back, action steps. If you're going to be doing this, you need. So I went back again. I started again, action steps. Okay. Listen, pay attention. What do you want to do? Skip trace, learn how to do things. And then I said, okay, I think I'm ready. So I went and bought the tax sale list for my local county.
Nice. Cool.
Um, Now remember, I'm in Southern California.
Yeah.
I'm about so I get it. I paid like $115 for this list.
Wow.
It was a large list. A lot of my man, I'm looking at money. Like it's huge like numbers. And I'm like, well, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I get to work. I start skip tracing, calling, emailing, no results, no results. And then I get a hold of someone and they call me a scam and they hang up on me.
Yeah.
A little discouraging.
Absolutely.
But like I said, I told myself I don't care how I feel. I'm gonna ups and downs. I'm gonna keep going. So I think I worked that list for 2 months. I got a hold of some property owners, but they assumed they thought I was a scam. I've never seen people walk away. I've never seen anyone walk away from $100,000. I was like, I'm like, please, hey, please just listen to me, please. Like, it's not even for me, just for you. Like, I know that you could use this money.
Yeah.
But so with that list, I think I worked it for like 2 months and I got no results. Nothing. But I said, I learned how to skip trace. I learned how to call people. I know, still to this day, cold calling, I get nervous. My heart starts racing, but so I worked that list, and then I was like, you know what? Like, I want to try Mo's. So
Yeah.
I started looking into the Mo's, and I think I jumped from one state to the next for like a couple of weeks. And I was kind of like, I remember you saying, hey, like, pick one state, work in that state,
Yeah.
jump from place to place. So again, I prayed on it to show me which way to go. God showed me which way to go, and he gave me a state. I said, okay, this is it. So I picked the state, picked modes. I learned how to read court cases. I learned how to find the foreclosure lists. I learned how to find. I just kept at it, and started calling. And I think probably like 2 or 3 weeks after that, I wake up because my time is extremely limited. Like I said, I have my kids. I have 2 kids, so my wife's not here, and it's just us. So I wake up. I chose this. I was given a state on the other side of the country, so I saw it as I'm at a disadvantage because I'm 3 hours behind.
Mm.
Then I realized later, like, well, you're not really. You have the weekends. If you wake up 3 hours earlier, then you'll be on their time.
Yeah.
So I called. Um, I got a lead. I called the lead. The homeowners were deceased. I called the first relative, and what are you calling me for? This is a scam. Well, how'd you get my number? I'm gonna sue you. You're harassing me. I'm gonna call the police. I'm like, all right, and again, extremely discouraged. Like, oh man, like I'm just gonna go in the living room, watch TV. And I said, no, call the next number. So I called the next number, and boom, hey, how you doing? Oh, hi, Raul. Oh, who do you work for? I got my I made sure that I had my LLC because I just wanted to be a little bit more, have a little bit more credibility.
Yeah.
He was a 5-minute conversation. He was just being a little bit open-minded, and I explained to him, and he goes, yeah, well, I've had, it was his parents' house. Um, his father had passed away in January of 2018. His best friend passed away in February, and his mother passed away in June.
Wow.
So he had lost a lot, and he was very like, hey, like I knew I had to kind of, you know, walk on eggshells a little bit, like make sure, you don't. So, but he was open minded, and he we had like 3 conversations, and you build a relationship. You listen to their story because they've gone through something, and when you just be a human and have a heart. And after a couple of conversations, he said, okay. He said, send the papers in the contract. I'll go get it right now. Go sign it right now. And um, after that, he talked to his brother and sister. They were skeptical. The first call, they actually were like, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a scam, especially when they got paid out. They
Yeah.
got paid out. Then it was like, I'm so sorry. Like, no worries. It's all right. So that was the first one. Yeah. So
And how
yeah.
much was that overage?
The total recovery was 73,000.
Wow.
$73,000 for the total recovery. So, and it was split between them. They were happy,
Yeah.
definitely happy.
You don't
So,
have to share if you don't want to, but will you, what was your takeaway from that? Either your net
no,
profit.
yeah, no worries. My original contract, I had a 70-30 split,
Nice.
70-30. So it should have been like 18 and some change.
Yep.
But I actually talked to the original client, and I genuinely I didn't feel that was right, to be honest. I felt like, well, that's splitting everything 4 ways.
Hmm.
It's 3 of them and 1. So I'd be getting the same as them.
Gotcha.
So I talked to him, and he actually brought it up in the same conversation that I was going to bring it up. He brought it up before, and I told him, I said, yeah, no, I totally agree. what we'll do is, I said I could write up another contract for a smaller percentage, or we could just leave it that way, and I'll verbally agree to take less.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. I said, all right, awesome. So we agreed on 12,000,
Nice.
but he sent me a check for 11,000,
Okay.
and I accepted. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you. I appreciate you for letting me help. So, um, yeah, that was well worth the wait, well worth it was a little stressful at times because once once the money is released, then it's like the pressure's on,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know. And then my attorney, she sent the check via USPS, and it was dancing around my county for a couple of days, and I'm like stressing out, like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but ended up being good. I think they had some issues between themselves
Mm.
after that because, well, money disputes.
Oh.
But I'm sorry. I apologize, but
Well, I mean, you help them. Had you not helped them, they wouldn't have gotten anything, you know?
yeah, I think the issue was my first client, who's the youngest of the three, and just talking to the older ones, they kind of had like we're the older siblings, we should get this or we should get that, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. So
Yeah, that's too bad when that happens. But I mean, and when did that pay out?
that actually paid out in July.
July.
So I got the contract signed, I think, in like the first one in April. The other heirs I got signed in May. But when we submitted the forms, the judge misread one of the forms, I guess, and he scheduled a hearing for 30 days later. So
Yes.
when he got to the hearing, the judge read the paperwork again and said, "Oh, I misread the paperwork. Yeah, here, take it." So I was like, "All right, like, so
That's wild, man, because I got like goosebumps from your story, man, because I mean, there's so many similarities between your story and my story. Like, you're working a job that has weird hours, and same when I started at the prison, it was, 6 to 6, graveyard shift, never saw my wife. And it's like, we're actually almost the same age and we both got kids. And it's like, but also that you were like, you've had this feeling, right, that there's more out there and like you're being guided
mm,
by God. And I believe that as well. Like, there is so much that's happened in my journey that it's like it hasn't been just me. There is a higher power out there that has guided me through this process and this journey. But you highlighted so many great points, man. Like, it's such a great story and like so many golden nuggets. And I want to highlight those really quick for people so that they can, take those away and understand that, well, number one, there was a lot of obstacles that you had to overcome, a
yeah,
lot of discouragement. Um, but I love that what you said was, I'm not going to quit and I'm just going to keep doing no matter what I feel or something like that.
yeah,
And dude, that is like so, so important. Like that is like a critical character trait that you have to have if you're a person that wants to be successful is you have to do the things necessary to get success regardless of how you feel.
yeah,
Um, and it's like I love that, dude. Like it's such a good lesson to take away. And it man, it's so cool. I feel like I'm standing in the presence of greatness, like because you've come a long way, man. Like you started in January of this year. Today
mhm.
is September 30th. Let me ask you this. Did you have any previous real estate experience or anything before you got started in overages?
Man, no, I tried to sell Kirby's vacuums when I was like 20 for once for like a one day. I
Yeah.
think I worked 12 hours and didn't get paid and was like, yeah, this is not happening. I'm
Okay.
out here. So anything like any real estate, anything like that, no. Like I've always been like construction.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
you know,
I
that's
mean,
a
I mean, just like thinking about all of the skills that you've developed in this 9 months, like that's crazy. Like you've learned how to find leads, you've learned how to skip trace, you've learned how to talk to people, what paperwork to use. Like you've learned the process, but it's been a process, right? And it's like,
Oh,
and that's like a huge thing. Like it's like, I mean, obviously you invested in the course, you know, you've got $11,000 in the bank to show from it and probably got some other deals in the works, but it's taken 9 months. I mean, I guess it took 6, but that's like, that's so important. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, people need to understand that this business, it is, if you're looking for something fast, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. And it's
no,
going to take a while, not only to see results, but also to develop the skills necessary to be successful in the business. And I'm just like, I'm just in awe that you've gone from basically not knowing anything to now a successful deal in a matter of 9 months. And that is like, that just shows like how committed you've been and the work that you put in and the effort. Like props to you, man. Like
I
much
definitely,
respect and mad props to you for just sticking it out, especially when you wanted to quit. Because it sounds like you, there were moments where you did want to quit, and that's normal. Everyone's going to experience those. And it is those tiny little moments, you know, where we either decide that we're going to move forward and push and do the thing regardless of how we feel, or are we going to succumb to our feelings and let off the gas.
yes.
And you didn't, you just kept going. So
And I don't know if I'm pretty sure you get a lot of praise and things like that, but you being the kind-hearted person that you are and putting this information out there, like I'm grateful that God put me in with you in front of you because there's like there's so much money that could be made, and you could have easily said, you know what, no, I'm good, my family is straight, I don't have nothing to worry about, they'll figure it out or whatever, not even, and it wouldn't even matter. You know what I mean? But I know you've changed so many people's lives because I see it in the pages, I see it on Facebook. Every time that I go back, every time that I go back, you know, you're updating things, you answer, emails, you answer Facebook, and I'm like, man, like this man is incredible. So there was like just having that guidance from you is another is was another reason, for me not to quit. Like, why would I quit, when I can just sit on my computer and be taught what I need to know,
yeah.
like, and you have everything in so much detail. There's so much detail. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to learn for yourself, but like this, it's like I said, man, I feel like God is here. Like he definitely is guiding me, and he guided me in the right direction. And what's funny is the money for the course, when you don't have money, you look at 2,000 and you're like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When I paid that 2,000, I said, I don't want that $2,000 back. I remember you said someone, there was a someone who, it was a lady that she didn't get a deal within like 2 weeks and she wanted a refund, and there was like $100,000 there. And I remember watching, I remember telling myself, I was driving to work and I said, I don't want that money back. I don't want it. Like if I lose it and it doesn't work, oh well, at least I tried. But you being the man that you are, helping a lot of people, and I can't speak for everyone because I don't know everyone, but from my heart and my family, we appreciate you and everything that you've done.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I just appreciate you because you went out and you used the information that was provided to you. Um, and not everybody does. Not everybody does. But that's the difference, right? I mean, that's not everyone, I guess, can can see the results if they're not willing to put in the same amount of effort that you've put in. So I am grateful that I could play just a small part in your journey. So
Yeah, I don't know if it's small, man, but you're definitely part. You definitely help, man. And I appreciate it. You know, Still got a lot to go, still got a lot to learn.
oh
Um,
yeah, dude. And that will never stop. Uh, Learning will never stop, or at least it shouldn't stop. Um, you know, I'm in this what 5, almost 7 years now. I'm
Mhm.
still learning, man. I'm still learning new things, and it it
Yeah.
it's a constant process, and sometimes things change, laws change or processes change, and then you have to adapt and you have to learn, and it's an ongoing journey. So I think I wish school taught us how to love to learn, because that's key.
Yeah.
To love to learn to stay in business.
Yeah. You have to be willing, and to one thing I know too is you have to be willing to understand that you don't know everything.
Yes.
You don't know everything.
Gotcha.
I've learned that I know everything person, it's hard for them to move forward
Yeah.
because you can't tell them nothing. And I don't want to be that guy. And I know, like I said, I appreciate, this business because I felt in my career now, and even in electrical, like I felt like I had hit a ceiling where I'm like, okay, well, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, and then with overages, I'm like you said, laws change, processes change, like having to, you can start in one state. I got to learn there's 49 other states or however many other states I need to figure out.
Right.
So it's definitely, I'm in it for the long haul, and I definitely am looking forward to being successful.
I love it, man. Well, you're already in the top 10% for sure, just by having a deal done. So you're well on your way. Is there any like final words of wisdom or advice that you'd give to someone that's either new to it, just started, or considering starting getting involved in overages?
Um, do it. Don't don't hesitate. The money is not gonna. It can change your life if you just do it. Don't stop. No matter how you're gonna feel great one day. You're gonna feel like you're on top of the world. The next day you're gonna feel like you don't want to do it no more. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be excited. You're gonna be everything in between.
Yeah.
Just stay consistent, and it works. It's
Oh,
guaranteed to work.
I love it, brother. Man, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful that you took the time out to share your story, and you know, I appreciate you. I'm proud of you, man. Keep up the momentum. It's awesome. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you for all your help.